how would you like to save up all your money and regret your purchase?
Right now, the first home purchase for almost all of us is a condo. There are some things that you absolutely need to know about when you're buying a condo. Today we're going to cover never buying these types of condos to make sure that you are guided properly through that home process. So if you are living in the GTA and you're thinking of buying a condo, stay tuned throughout this video so I can inform you on what is important to look for and what is something that we might be able to look past in our home search. If you're thinking of making a move in the GTA in the next year, you can contact me in the description box down below by booking a 30-minute consultation appointment, or you can just text me at the number here on screen in one of these corners and we can get started with our conversation. So there's several things we want to be aware of, but the first thing is very important and so is the last. So stay tuned throughout this video as I guide you through this process. The first thing is those maintenance fees. They can be outrageous. When you're searching on the MLS, I suggest to have a filter for what those maintenance fees are going to be. You might see a property that's priced fantastic, $400,000 for a condo that's 1 bedroom plus a den. Your heart's going to start pounding. You're going to feel excited, and then you're going to notice that the maintenance fee is $1,200 a month, and you're going to say to yourself, "What the?" But it's really something that you need to understand. The older the building, the higher the maintenance fees are going to be. The newer the building, generally, that's the lowest point you're going to see these maintenance fees. They will go up over time as certain things need to be repaired. So if you have a 50-year-old condo, you can just imagine there's a lot more that needs to be repaired in these condos because time and age has taken place. The other time you're going to see high maintenance fees on a newer condo would be something that's a low rise, something that has maybe 3 or 4 levels. You've got a lot less people contributing to the maintenance of the building. Because of that, it means you all have to contribute just a little bit more to make sure that you can enjoy the home that you live in here. So in some cases, it may absolutely feel like you're paying a second mortgage. And I know that might sound daunting, but it's something you need to understand going into the process. So buying a home, buying your first condo, understand those maintenance fees are a very important factor about this whole process. And you have to ask yourself a big question. How long are you going to be living in this condo? You may have to actually resell this condo in the future. That buyer that's coming in is going to have the exact same concerns as you did going into this purchase. Why the heck are the maintenance fees so high? And in all likelihood, when you go to sell this unit, those fees are going to be even higher than they were when you purchased it. What can you do to kind of mitigate this whole issue? Look for buildings that are well maintained. Talk to your agent. There's buildings out there that are older, that have fantastic maintenance, that are reasonable maintenance fees. There's also buildings out there that are newer that have outrageous maintenance fees because they were not built properly. They have tons of elevator issues. Maybe they've got the, I've seen down in Toronto several times where the balconies are falling apart. So they've had to get every unit owner there to contribute additionally on top of that maintenance fee via a special assessment to go through a massive renovation that's required. So figure out who the builder is for the building, see what kind of reputation they have, talk to your realtor for the reputation of these buildings, find those units that have that sweet spot for square footage and reasonable maintenance fee and are going to offer what you need out there. Also consider always what your future looks like here. Don't go crazy. Don't go for the best unit with the highest maintenance fee if you know you might only be there for a short period of time. Now, generally, most people, if you're buying a condo for your first property, you're going to be there from 3 to 5 years, and then you might either rent it out or sell it depending on what the market has done. The next thing is a poorly managed building. Now, this is absolutely intertwined here with that maintenance fee because if the building is not maintained well, you are going to have a lot more issues, a lot more disintegration of the quality in these condos, which is going to require, guess what? More money from you and higher maintenance fees to go over all of these repairs. So what can you really do to, I guess, preemptively figure out if this building is going to be managed well or not? Take a look when you're going through it during your showings. Are the hallways clean? Is the elevator broken, or are there multiple elevators that are broken? Is there repairs that you can see signs for happening throughout the building? And these things are generally going to drive down the value of the unit. If you've got 30 floors and 4 elevators, but 2 of them are out of order, and you've gone there twice to look at units, This is a red flag. Why haven't they been fixed? How long have they been down? Do some research, figure out maybe if you're in the elevator, talk to a resident there, get a little bit of that information that's harder to get from somebody who lives there, or maybe from the front desk. They've got no incentive to encourage you to buy a unit in their building. So talk to these people. They're going to give you the truth because there's no reason why they wouldn't. What else can you do? Google it, throw it in ChatGPT, figure out what these buildings spit out. So if there's good reviews, bad reviews, the maintenance companies maybe that are representing the buildings, that's something easy that your realtor can provide you, who the property management company is. Once you have this information, you can kind of dive into it a little bit further to see, do I like who's representing the building or not? Figuring these things out is going to save you some time because a poorly managed building is just something that's going to give you more headache down the road. It's going to make it harder for you to sell. And let's just be honest with it. The maintenance fee is going to go up if it's managed poorly and if things are breaking down more frequently. The next thing is condos that have very restrictive rules. Believe it or not, some condos do not even allow pets. So if you have a pet, this is something that you absolutely need to consider when you're buying a condo. Look through the condo declarations, consider potentially having your lawyer look through everything. We'll have a conditional period, especially in the market we're in the GTA right now. We will have a condo document review, or what we call a status certificate review condition period, generally 1 to 3 days. But if there's certain things that you have, if you've got an exotic pet, if you have a cat, if you have a dog, if you can't bring this to your new condo, that's going to be a really big red flag for you. So what other things do we need to look for in these rules beside from pets? Short-term rentals. Does the building allow them? If you're going to live there long-term, you probably don't want something that has short-term rentals. You're going to have a lot of people in and out of the building that don't care about it because they're just there for 1, 2, 3 days at a time. This would be a red flag for me if I'm an owner and I want to be there for a longer period of time. The other thing, renovations without board approval. If you're going to go ahead and do renovations and make your unit better, you're going to want to get approval through the condo board. Some people will go ahead and do all of these things, but if they do them without condo approval, you're going to have some issues there. So maybe the unit you're looking at has some things that have been done. Figure out if they have been done and if the board has given approval, or is it going to cost you some money in the long term. As long as the rules are reasonable, typical, no smoking in your unit, quiet after a certain time, all of these are completely reasonable. You're living in a condo, there's going to be some give and some take with your lifestyle. But if it's going to hinder the way you live and it makes a lot of But if it's going to hinder the way you live and it's going to be restrictive to your pets that you might already own, or maybe you really don't want that short-term rental option in your building, this is absolutely something you want to consider. Now, on the other hand, if you're an investor, you need to know this ahead of time. Which buildings are going to be good for you if you are looking to buy something as an investment? You are absolutely not going to buy a condo that's not allowing a short-term rental. How inconvenient for you. What are you going to do there? You're just going to rent it long-term. You're going to have a more poor ROI on your purchase. If you were hoping to have short-term rental and make those big gains financially, that's going to put the stop brakes on for you, and you're going to have to really make a decision if you're going to rent it long-term, or maybe you need to sell it in the future because you didn't do the research ahead of time. So condo rules, they can obviously have a huge impact on your life. Make sure you're comfortable with them before making that purchase. The next condo that you should never buy is a condo in a very oversaturated market. So oversaturated markets in areas like downtown Toronto, there's going to be new condos popping up on every single corner. Now this, generally, you're going to think is great. There's so many options for me to choose from, but oversupply in a specific area is going to generally mean it's going to be harder for you to sell in the future. If you are buying a condo and everywhere you look, you're just surrounded by other buildings, the likelihood that all of these other units are going to affect your purchase price potentially negatively, sometimes positively, but you have a lot happening around there that might be able to pull down your value in the future. Now, what are you supposed to do in this case? Obviously, you look around. If you're downtown Toronto, there's condos everywhere. Look for an area that is very high demand. So you're looking for something that's close to major restaurants, major shopping, transit, maybe some big employers, maybe there's an Amazon close by, maybe there's a Microsoft, something like that, where you're going to always have a draw potentially if you need to sell it in the future. Something that really just helps your building or your unit stand out from the rest. So you're gonna want to ask your agent what you know about this unit, what you can tell from the sales in this building compared to everything else that's happening in the area that actually makes sense for you to pull the trigger, knowing that everything around you is also for sale. Now, the final thing I want to say about this is look for something that has long-term staying power. There's a million and one trends out there. Don't get caught up in the trends because trends are always moving. Make sure that you buy something that has long-term resale potential, something unique in a well-located area in a building that is performing better than the ones around it. The next thing is almost impossible for you to figure out ahead of time, but you want to avoid buying a condo that has hidden issues. Now, what do I mean by this? What is a hidden issue, Mike? How am I supposed to avoid buying something with a hidden issue? One thing that can really get you into trouble is buying a condo with an HVAC system that's not working well. Even if you have a home inspection on a condo, which unfortunately not a lot of people decide to do, it is 100% up to you as the buyer if you want to do a home inspection on your property, on that purchase. But a lot of people opt not to do it on a condo because there's only so much you can see. They can't really tear down any walls, check behind all the systems and see what's working, what's not working. They can just test everything as it is, and if it's working, it's working. If it's not, it's not. There's only so deep that they can dig. But the one thing that is going to be a really big headache for you with these hidden issues is potential soundproofing. You might be looking at this unit at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday and everybody is working quiet. What does that unit sound like at 7 p.m. on a Friday night? It might have horrible soundproofing, and that's just something that you are going to have to do your due diligence on. Take multiple viewings when it comes to going to buy your property. If the market is not crazy and you have more than one opportunity to look at it, look at the property in two different lights, two different times, so you can see and hear what's happening that we can't see beyond just doing a simple walkthrough or looking at the pictures online. The second thing is the outdated HVAC system. You may not have an inspector that's able to tell you, all right, this is going to break soon, but they might be able to tell you it's outdated, it's old. Do your due diligence, see if your fans have been checked. Sometimes those bathroom fans are also old and dated, and those sensors can just crumble upon trying to repair them. So make sure all of these systems are working and in good working order before you go ahead and pull the trigger on a purchase. Sometimes paying for a home inspection or a condo inspection is going to be $300, $400, $500, but ultimately this could end up saving you thousands of dollars at the end of the day. Now, what can we really look for? Obviously, the inspector's the one that's going to look for most of it. They're going to do their checks of everything, so water damage, mold, any poor ventilation, things like that. We can also talk to the condo board. So that would be something that we would do out of our due diligence. Talk to the condo board, see if it's been involved in any other issues. Maybe the unit owners have reached out to the condo board to have a repair done, and we're not too sure when and where that took place. Get a little bit of extra information if you can. And if you skip your due diligence period, you could end up with a condo that costs you a lot more than it's generally worth. Take time, investigate before you go ahead and pull the trigger on a property. Don't get tied up in the rush of trying to close on property. It's not worth it, and you're gonna save yourself thousands of dollars making sure you buy the right property. So there you have it. We have 5 different types of condos that you should never buy. Some of them we can do workarounds with, and others are going to cause you a lot of frustration. They're going to cost you a lot of money, and ultimately, if you're looking to buy a home in the GTA, you'll want to be cautious of what you're buying depending on what your needs are. Now, if you are looking to buy something in the GTA, I am here to help you. You can click the first link in the description box down below. We can book a one-on-one consultation call where we can figure out a game plan for both of us to navigate that real estate market together to find you the best place available. You can also just text me at the number here on screen. It'll be somewhere here, one of the corners, top, bottom, and we can get started with your real estate journey. I want to hear from you. When searching for a condo, what is one of the biggest red flags that you have come across? Let's talk in the comment section down below. See you next week. Bye for now.